When a relationship with a narcissist ends, it rarely ends quietly. It is not just a breakup. It is psychological warfare. They do not simply walk away. They make sure you are left questioning your worth, your memories, and even your sanity. They twist the story, manipulate emotions, and destroy your reputation, all while wearing the mask of a victim. Just when you think it is over, they find a way to pull you back in. If you are wondering why the ending hurts more than the entire relationship, these 12 cruel tactics might be the reason why. Shift every ounce of blame onto you. Even for their own betrayals, one of the most damaging things a narcissist does at the end of a relationship is twist the truth so thoroughly that you begin to question your own role in their wrongdoings. Even when they are the ones who have lied, manipulated, or betrayed your trust, they will shift every ounce of blame onto you. It is a psychological defense mechanism known as projection. But with narcissists, it becomes a weapon of control. If they cheated, they will accuse you of being distant or emotionally unavailable. If they lied, they will say it was because you overreact to the truth. If they broke promises, they will insist you were impossible to please. In every case, their narrative erases their responsibility and rewrites history to protect their fragile ego. This is not a one-time behavior. It is a relentless pattern. The narcissist is not just avoiding accountability. They are actively destroying your sense of reality. They will confidently explain to mutual friends, family members, or even therapists that you were the controlling one, you were unstable, or you caused all the fights. They will smile sweetly while planting poisonous seeds about your behavior, knowing that their charm makes people more likely to believe them than you. Over time, you may start to internalize these lies. You might find yourself apologizing for things that were never your fault, or defending yourself against accusations that do not make sense. That is the goal. Narcissists want to trap you in a state of confusion, guilt, and emotional dependence. If they can keep you on the defensive, they never have to look in the mirror themselves. At the end of the relationship, when things begin to fall apart, this blame shifting intensifies. It becomes cruel, calculated, and cold. They will use everything you ever confided in them against you. They will highlight your weakest moments as proof of your flaws. And worst of all, they will insist that you are the reason the relationship failed. Not their cheating, not their manipulation, not their gaslighting, just you. This tactic is especially damaging because it leaves you not just heartbroken, but ashamed. You may walk away from the relationship thinking you deserve the mistreatment, when in reality, you were just the easiest one to blame. And that is exactly how the narcissist wants it. Craft a victim narrative to rally sympathy and paint you as the villain. When a narcissist feels a relationship slipping away, they instinctively build a false narrative, one where they appear powerless, mistreated, and heartbroken. This is not about truth, it is about perception. They know how important their image is, and they will do anything to protect it, even if it means rewriting history and casting themselves as the one who was wronged. Their version of events is carefully edited. They highlight their sacrifices, minimize their flaws, and exaggerate your mistakes. They leave out context. They retell stories with emotional flair, dramatizing your reactions while conveniently ignoring what provoked them. To those who hear their side first, it sounds like they were loving, committed, and endlessly patient, and you were cruel, distant, or unstable. They tell mutual friends, "I just could not do anything right," or "I gave everything and it was never enough." These statements are subtle, disarming, and designed to create doubt about your character. Even if you try to set the record straight, it often feels like shouting into a void. The narcissist has already positioned themselves as the innocent one, and your pain is easily reframed as hostility. What makes this manipulation effective is the way it preys on empathy. Most people want to believe the person in front of them is genuine. Narcissists know this, and they use it to draw others close, crying on shoulders, expressing deep sadness, and painting themselves as emotionally shattered. Meanwhile, you are left reeling, still trying to make sense of what actually happened. They will also twist your most vulnerable moments into ammunition. Any time you broke down, raised your voice, or begged for honesty is now part of their evidence that you were the unstable one. They ignore context because truth does not serve their agenda, sympathy does. The more emotional you get, the more convincing their story becomes. This tactic isolates you. Friends begin to question your side. Family members may urge you to move on without realizing you are still buried under layers of emotional distortion. The narcissist, meanwhile, keeps spinning their story to anyone who will listen, reinforcing their role as the hurt, blameless partner. By the time you recognize the manipulation, the damage is often done. And what hurts the most is not just the lies, but the silence from those who believed them. Use guilt, tears, and twisted memories to manipulate your emotions. When a narcissist feels control slipping through their fingers, they do not surrender. They manipulate. They reach deep into the emotional vault you built together and start turning every vulnerable moment against you. Their weapon of choice? Guilt, wrapped in selective memory and delivered with calculated sorrow. They might say things like, "After everything I did for you, this is how you treat me?" Or, "I never asked for much, just your love." These words are carefully designed to hit you where it hurts most, your conscience. You start questioning yourself. Were you too harsh? Did you give enough? Are you being unfair by finally drawing boundaries? That is how narcissistic guilt works. It is not real remorse. It is a performance, staged to keep you tethered emotionally. They know how to cry without actually feeling. The tears may be real, but the intention is strategic. They are not mourning the loss of the relationship. They are mourning the loss of control. They also have an uncanny ability to distort the past. Moments where they hurt you are reimagined as times when you overreacted. Times you stood up for yourself are now portrayed as verbal attacks. Suddenly, your memory becomes blurred because they are so certain of their version. They speak with such confidence, such emotional precision, that you begin to doubt your own experience. This confusion is intentional. It is called gaslighting, and when mixed with guilt, it is paralyzing. You find yourself frozen between what you remember and what they insist is true. The emotional weight becomes unbearable. You want peace, so you give in. You apologize, you soften, you open the door again, and they walk right back in, only to hurt you the same way again. You might even feel responsible for their pain. That is their ultimate goal. To make you feel like walking away would be cruel, like saving yourself means destroying them. But the truth is, they are not broken. They are calculated. They know that if they can keep you feeling guilty, you will never leave. This tactic is especially cruel because it weaponizes your compassion. They exploit your goodness, your loyalty, and your desire to heal what is broken. But no matter how much you give, it will never be enough. Because it was never love they wanted. It was dominance. In the end, you are left drained, uncertain, and emotionally tangled, while they quietly reclaim the upper hand. Recruit mutual friends or family to attack or isolate you on their behalf. When a narcissist realizes that their hold on you is slipping, they do not face the discomfort of being alone. Instead, they enlist an army to carry out their emotional battles for them. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, they cleverly manipulate those around you into becoming their allies, all while keeping their hands clean. This is a key tactic in maintaining control and isolating you from support. At first, their strategy is subtle. They may drop a few small complaints about you, carefully phrased to make it seem like you're the one who is difficult. A narcissist might tell your friends, "She's been so distant lately, I don't even recognize her anymore," or "I feel like I'm the only one trying." These comments are designed to seed doubt and confusion in your relationships. They want people to believe that their feelings are valid and that you are the one causing the breakdown. The real danger lies in how they manipulate these trusted figures. Narcissists are masterful at presenting themselves as the long-suffering partner, patiently enduring your supposed flaws. They play the victim card, portraying themselves as the person wronged by your behavior, hoping to turn the tide in their favor. They know that by playing on emotions, they can influence others' perceptions and erode your support system. It doesn't take long before the people closest to you start looking at you with skepticism, or worse, judgment. Family members who once saw you as a pillar of strength may begin to question your decisions. Friends who once had your back may start to distance themselves, convinced that the narcissist is the one being hurt. Narcissists are masters of emotional manipulation, and by the time you realize what's happening, the walls of isolation have already been built. This behavior often escalates into direct attacks. The narcissist may convince your closest friends or family members to challenge you, confront you, or question your actions. They might say, "You've changed. What's going on with you?" Or, "Why are you treating him that way?" This is not about seeking the truth. It is about aligning others with their distorted version of reality. You are now being attacked from all sides, with no one seemingly on your side. At the same time, the narcissist isolates you from these people, creating emotional distance and dividing your support network. They ensure that your safe spaces, your confidants, are no longer available to you, leaving you more vulnerable to their control. Your relationships become strained, not because of anything you've done, but because the narcissist has manipulated the narrative and turned your own circle against you. By the time you realize how deeply they've ingrained themselves in your relationships, it's often too late. You're alone, confused, and emotionally battered, while the narcissist continues to play the victim in front of everyone who will listen. Disappear without explanation, leaving emotional chaos in their wake. One of the most devastating actions a narcissist can take when a relationship starts to end is to vanish without any warning or explanation. This sudden disappearance is not an accident. It is a carefully orchestrated move designed to destabilize you, leaving you in emotional turmoil and uncertainty. The narcissist does not just walk away. They create a void that pulls everything around them into disarray. The narcissist may become distant for days or weeks, acting cold, indifferent, or even completely absent. They may offer no explanation for their behavior, and when you finally confront them, they might dismiss your concerns with a quick, "I'm just busy," or "You're overreacting." Eventually, they withdraw entirely, leaving you confused and stranded, wondering what happened. This silence isn't the result of a healthy separation. It's a calculated strategy to force you into a state of emotional chaos. At first, you may hope it is a temporary phase. You may reason that they are simply stressed or going through a rough time. But as the days stretch on and their absence continues, you begin to question everything. Was it something you said or did? Was this inevitable? The narcissist has already begun to plant seeds of doubt in your mind, making you feel like you are to blame for their withdrawal. This disappearing act also serves as a method of control. By cutting off communication, the narcissist forces you into a position of waiting. You're left in a state of emotional suspension, not knowing whether the relationship is truly over or whether they will come back when it suits them. In your mind, you replay every conversation, every argument, wondering if you did something to trigger their silence, all while they maintain complete power over when or if they return. During this time, you are left with an emotional vacuum. You might try to fill it by reaching out to them, apologizing, or asking for clarification, but this only reinforces their power. Your desperate attempts to understand what happened are often met with more silence or worse, a cold dismissal when they finally respond. Their absence is not about needing space. It is a deliberate tactic designed to break you down emotionally. When they do reappear, if they ever do, it's often under terms that leave you vulnerable. They will re-enter your life as if nothing happened, with no explanation, no apology, and no acknowledgement of the damage they caused. By this point, you are so emotionally drained and confused that you may accept them back, only to fall into the same cycle of disappearing and reappearing on their terms. The narcissist's disappearance leaves a trail of emotional wreckage, unanswered questions, unresolved feelings, and a fractured sense of self. They may be gone physically, but their emotional grip remains, lingering long after their absence. Return with shallow apologies designed only to regain control. When a narcissist finally reappears after a period of absence, it often comes with an apology, but make no mistake, it is not a genuine one. Their return is not motivated by remorse or the desire to make amends. It is a calculated move to regain control over you. Narcissists know that a well-timed apology can be incredibly powerful, but theirs is usually shallow and self-serving, crafted not to heal the relationship, but to reassert dominance. The apology is often quick, vague, and devoid of true accountability. They might say things like, "I'm sorry if I hurt you," or "I didn't mean to make you feel bad." Notice how the focus is always shifted away from their actions and onto your feelings. This creates an illusion of sincerity while maintaining the narcissist's fragile self-image. There is no ownership of the hurt they caused, and rarely, if ever, do they acknowledge the manipulation or betrayal that led to the fallout. It is not about acknowledging the pain they caused, but about making you feel guilty for questioning their behavior. In their mind, an apology is a tool to manipulate you into believing that they are a changed person or that you overreacted. The narcissist uses this tactic to reset the dynamics of the relationship on their terms. By apologizing, they create the illusion that the slate has been wiped clean and that things can go back to how they were. They want you to believe that the rift was a temporary misunderstanding and that you are at fault for holding on to the past. They often rely on your empathy, knowing that you might want closure or peace, which makes it easier to pull you back in. Once you accept the apology, they regain access to your emotions. They use the false promise of change to get closer to you and reassert their control. It is not about building trust or healing the relationship. It is about maintaining their position of power. The narcissist's apology is a means to an end, to reinstate their influence over you, keep you emotionally entangled, and prevent you from fully cutting ties. What's even more dangerous is that these shallow apologies are often followed by the same toxic behavior, proving that their remorse was fleeting, if it ever existed. The cycle repeats itself: an apology, a temporary change, and then a return to the same manipulation and abuse. Quickly replace you to prove their desirability and punish your independence. When a narcissist feels their grip on you loosening, they will often take swift action to replace you, not because they genuinely care for the new person, but because they need to prove something. Their primary goal is not just to move on, but to assert their desirability and punish your independence. The narcissist thrives on validation, and the quickest way to feel admired again is by quickly finding someone new to take your place. This rapid replacement is not about healing or closure. It is about sending a message. By jumping into a new relationship or seeking attention from others, they want to demonstrate that they can easily attract someone else, as if to say, "See, I am wanted. I am worthy of admiration, and you were the one who could not see it." It's an effort to maintain their self-esteem by proving they are still desirable, while subtly undermining your value. The narcissist may flaunt their new partner in front of you, either directly or indirectly, often through social media posts, shared photos, or casual mentions. The goal is clear: to make you feel insignificant and replaceable. It's as though they are saying, "I didn't need you, and look, I have someone new who is better suited for me." This tactic feeds into their deep insecurities, masking their fragile self-worth with outward displays of validation. They want you to see their new relationship as proof that you were not as special as you thought you were, making it all the more painful. Beyond proving their desirability, the narcissist also uses this new relationship to punish your independence. If you had begun to detach, stand up for yourself, or show signs of moving on, the narcissist will use their new connection as a tool to remind you of what you lost. They want to make sure you feel the sting of their departure, reinforcing the idea that your independence was the reason the relationship ended. The message is clear: your ability to thrive without them is an affront to their inflated sense of self. They cannot bear the thought of you moving on, and they want to ensure you know they are still important, even without you. This quick replacement is also about controlling the narrative. By swiftly finding someone else, the narcissist ensures that you never have the last word. They rewrite the story of your relationship on their terms, making it seem like you were the one who couldn't keep up, while they continue to be the object of desire. Love bomb you again, just enough to reopen old wounds and reestablish power when a narcissist sees their control slipping away. They know exactly how to regain it, through love bombing. They'll sweep you off your feet again, just enough to reopen the emotional scars you've been trying to heal. The goal isn't reconciliation, it's manipulation. After a period of distance, the narcissist senses your vulnerability. They return with promises of change and affection so overwhelming it clouds your judgment. The love they shower upon you feels genuine, even though it's entirely calculated. Compliments, gifts, excessive attention. It all feels like a breath of fresh air, like the connection you once had. You begin to question whether you were too harsh, too distant, and wonder if they might actually have changed. But this sudden onslaught of affection isn't for your benefit. It's a tactic to regain control, to make you doubt yourself, and to undo the boundaries you've set. They know that by bombarding you with love, they can open wounds you've worked hard to protect. They will remind you of the best times, the things you miss, and the love you once shared. This emotional vulnerability becomes their foothold, a way to bring you back into their grip. You might start to believe in the possibility of a fresh start, thinking they've learned from the past. But the truth is that their intention isn't to heal the relationship. They use this intense affection to create confusion, blurring the lines between real progress and manipulation. They know that by offering just enough love, they can make you question your decision to move on and weaken your resolve. Once they've succeeded in reopening those emotional wounds, the narcissist reestablishes their power. The emotional rush from their attention and validation gives you hope, making you feel needed and important once more. But soon enough, their behavior will return to the same toxic patterns. The love bombing fades, and the cycle of neglect or control resumes, leaving you in a constant state of uncertainty. This pattern is devastating because it doesn't allow you to heal. Each time the narcissist returns with their affection, you feel as though you're starting from scratch. The damage is cumulative, and the emotional toll grows each time they pull you back into their orbit. The love bombing isn't about love at all. It's about regaining the power they lost and ensuring you never fully escape their hold. Cure it. A false image of happiness and success to provoke jealousy and self-doubt. When a narcissist feels threatened or desires validation, they will create an illusion of a perfect life. Their goal is not to show real happiness, but to provoke jealousy and make you question your own worth. The image they craft is designed to manipulate your emotions and reaffirm their sense of superiority. The narcissist begins by showcasing a version of themselves that seems ideal, a life full of success, excitement, and fulfillment. On social media, in conversations, or even casually mentioned, they display pictures of perfect vacations, new relationships, or career triumphs, carefully curated to make their life seem far superior to yours. This outward display of perfection is not an accident. It's a strategic move to control how you perceive them. By carefully constructing this false image, they seek to make you feel inadequate in comparison. They want to provoke a sense of jealousy, making you question why your life doesn't measure up to their carefully crafted facade. They are well aware that by flaunting their success, they can evoke a deep sense of self-doubt in you, causing you to question whether you made the right choices in the past. The narcissist thrives on your emotional reaction. The more they provoke you, the more they feel validated. The image they project often includes new relationships, trips, or achievements that seem impossible for you to attain. Their aim is not to genuinely share their happiness, but to force you into feeling like something is missing in your own life. The message they send is subtle, yet powerful. Look at what you could have had you stayed with me. What makes this tactic particularly damaging is its ability to mess with your perception of reality. The narcissist's public display of success often contradicts the actual toxic nature of your relationship. By painting a false picture of happiness, they distort the truth, making you second-guess yourself. Was I wrong to leave? Maybe I was too hasty. Maybe my life would have been better with them in it. 10. Use threats, legal, financial, or emotional, to keep you afraid and uncertain. When a narcissist senses they are losing control, they will resort to threats to keep you afraid and uncertain. These threats are not meant to protect you or ensure your safety. They are strategic moves designed to manipulate your emotions and assert dominance. Whether through legal, financial, or emotional intimidation, the narcissist's goal is to paralyze you with fear and prevent you from taking decisive action. The narcissist will often start by subtly hinting at the consequences you will face if you leave or stand up for yourself. Legal threats might involve accusations of wrongdoing or promises to drag you through lengthy, expensive legal battles. They may claim that you have no chance of winning custody, for example, or that they'll ensure you lose financially. The mere mention of a drawn-out legal process can send you into a panic, causing you to hesitate and rethink your decisions. Financial threats are another common tactic. Narcissists know the power of money and how it can be used as a tool of control. They might threaten to drain your accounts, withhold funds, or sabotage your financial independence. These threats create a sense of insecurity, making you feel as though you cannot move forward without their approval. The fear of financial ruin keeps you emotionally tied to them, unsure of how to protect yourself without their interference. Emotional threats, however, are often the most insidious. The narcissist might use your love for them or for your children as leverage, threatening to cut off contact or manipulate the people you care about. They may say things like, "If you leave, I'll make sure everyone knows what you did," or "You'll never see your kids again." These statements are designed to make you feel isolated and vulnerable, convincing you that you cannot live without their approval or presence. What makes these threats so effective is their unpredictability. The narcissist can switch between different forms of intimidation, keeping you constantly on edge. You never know when the next threat will come or what form it will take. It's this uncertainty that prevents you from moving forward. The emotional weight of these threats can become so overwhelming that it becomes easier to stay in the toxic relationship than to face the unknown. Deliberately sabotage your reputation to maintain their own innocence. When a narcissist feels threatened or caught, they will stop at nothing to protect their image, even if it means ruining yours. One of their most destructive tactics is deliberately sabotaging your reputation, all to maintain their innocence and avoid any accountability. Their priority is to ensure that they are seen as the victim, regardless of the harm they've caused. The narcissist knows the power of perception. They understand that the way others view you can have significant consequences, and they exploit this knowledge to their advantage. When they sense that the truth is catching up with them, they will use your personal history, flaws, and vulnerabilities against you. They will twist facts, spread lies, and create false narratives to paint you as the villain in the story. The goal is not just to avoid blame, but to make you the source of all the problems. In social circles, the narcissist may start by planting seeds of doubt. They'll casually mention your past mistakes, exaggerating or misrepresenting them to make you look untrustworthy or unstable. Whether it's distorting the truth about past conflicts or accusing you of things you never did, they manipulate others' perceptions to make you seem difficult, irrational, or even dangerous. They know that once these rumors take root, they can continue to spread and erode your credibility, making it harder for you to defend yourself. In the workplace or within family dynamics, they may fabricate stories about your behavior, turning others against you. They might tell your colleagues or loved ones that you've been unprofessional, deceitful, or emotionally unstable, painting you as the problem in every situation. The more they spread these lies, the harder it becomes to prove them wrong. The narcissist uses these tactics to ensure they remain in the position of control, all while portraying themselves as the innocent, misunderstood party. This form of sabotage is often covert. The narcissist will not openly attack you. Instead, they will manipulate others into questioning your integrity without leaving any direct evidence of their actions. This emotional warfare leaves you vulnerable and isolated as those around you begin to view you through the lens the narcissist has carefully crafted. 12. Withhold closure as a final act of cruelty, leaving you haunted by unanswered questions. The narcissist's ultimate power move is withholding closure, leaving you with a lifetime of confusion and emotional turmoil. Once they have drained you, emotionally, they will often refuse to provide the closure you desperately need. This final act of cruelty ensures that you remain haunted by unanswered questions, unable to move forward with clarity or peace of mind. In any breakup, closure is essential for healing. It helps you make sense of the relationship, understand what went wrong, and ultimately allows you to let go. However, the narcissist understands that closure is a tool for your emotional recovery, and they will deny you this essential element in order to maintain control. By refusing to give you any final explanations or clarity, they leave you with a perpetual sense of uncertainty, making it nearly impossible to heal or find peace. This withholding tactic often begins with vague explanations, or none at all. They may offer cryptic responses or simply disappear, leaving you wondering what happened. Their silence becomes a weapon. You are left to replay the relationship over and over in your mind, trying to make sense of what went wrong. Did you misunderstand something? Were you not enough? The narcissist thrives on keeping you in this state of confusion, ensuring that you are consumed by these unanswered questions. The narcissist may also use the absence of closure to keep you emotionally tied to them. By leaving you with an incomplete story, they ensure that you are never truly able to move on. You remain fixated on the relationship, clinging to the hope that one day they will provide the answers you seek. This leaves you vulnerable to revisiting the toxic dynamic, even long after the relationship has ended. Their refusal to acknowledge your need for closure is an intentional act of control. It keeps you emotionally invested as you try to resolve the emotional conflict that remains unresolved. The narcissist, however, remains detached and unaffected. They have already moved on, but the uncertainty they've left behind keeps you trapped in a state of longing and doubt.